This week, we're looking at the astrology for Christmas 2022, or should I say for the holidays of 2022. If you've ever seen that meme that goes around social media, it says, when someone says happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas, remember they're not doing it because of political correctness. They do it out of respect. Because from the 20th of November to January 24th, there are at least 14 different religious holidays, and that means holidays from different religions. So when someone says happy holidays to you, thank them, because you don't know what they believe in and they don't know what you believe in, and it's all about respect. It's not a war on Christmas, and I say that as someone for whom Christmas is usually my favourite day of the year. Anyway, we're talking about the astrology of these holidays. Welcome to the Mainly Moonology podcast. I'm your host, Yasmin Boland, an award-winning astrologer and the Sunday Times best-selling author of books including Moonology and creator of the Moonology Oracle cards. My intention for this podcast is to help you understand how you can create your dream life using mainly Moonology, the moon, as your guide. So what does the week ahead offer us? Well, for one thing, it's offering us the last new moon of the year, a super new moon in the sign of Capricorn. And just by the way, in case you don't know, a super new moon, super new moons, it's not really astrology. We mention it because somehow it slipped into kind of social media parlance. People like to know if it's a super new moon or a super full moon. That's actually astronomy. But anyway, it's a super new moon in Capricorn. Let me give you the times around the world before I do anything else. So this last new moon of the year in Capricorn in London will take place December 23 at 10:16 a.m. In Sydney, December 23 at 9:16 p.m. In Los Angeles, December 23 at 2:16 a.m. And in New York, December 23 at 5:16 a.m. And, you know, in case you're new to Moonology, just a reminder that the new moon is the time to set your intentions for the month ahead. But of course, at the end of the year, it's a really good time to tap into the collective consciousness as the whole world thinks about their year ahead and actually make a list of what you want to do for the year ahead as well as the month ahead. So we're approaching the last new moon of the year, and as I say in my Moonology Diary 2022, the 2023 version is out now. The 2023 edition, I should say, is out now. You can get your Moonology Diary from moonologydiary.com, and if you grab it now, you'll get access to my new year workshop, which is all about manifesting love and abundance in 2023, moonologydiary.com. Anyway, it's a bit of a doozy at the time of the new moon. There are what we astrologers call a stellium, or a cluster of planets in the sign of Capricorn. We're actually going to have the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Pluto all in the sign of Capricorn. So that is a lot of very powerful end of year Capricorn energy. Actually, this stellium works really well with the time of the year. As I said in the introduction, it doesn't really matter what you celebrate at the end of the year, even if it's just celebrating the end of the year. People will be celebrating Christmas or Hanukkah or, you know, the start of 2023 approaching. But you know, it's very much a time to try and wrap up the year that was and to start to think about the year ahead. Okay? Start to think about the year ahead. If you only do one new moon wishing ritual this year, if you haven't done any all year and you're thinking, you know what, I really should be doing some of these new moon wishing rituals. If you only do one this year and this is it, do it this month, just after the times that I gave you at the start of this podcast. Sending out wishes for the year ahead, setting intentions, tapping into this really powerful, very Capricornian new moon will be a very, very powerful exercise. Also, note that the new moon is aligning with some Mercury, Venus, Neptune energies, making this a perfect time to devise an imaginative strategy and especially for ways to enjoy abundance and romance in 2023. So it's a really big deal. Now, I did say that I was reading a bit from my Moonology Diary 2022, and I just want to kind of tell you a few other things that are in there in the hope that you will snap up one of the last copies of my Moonology Diary 2023. So for a start, every new moon in the diary, 2022 and 2023, has a little exercise. So the exercise for this week from the diary is called Commit to Jupiter, okay? So it's a kind of a big one because Jupiter is the planet of all things big, and it says, let's go large and make a 12-year commitment if we can. The planet of good luck and expansion, Jupiter, has just moved back into the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, okay? I'm reading from the Moonology Diary 2022. If you've got it, it's page 245. So this marks the start of a new 12-year Jupiter cycle. All right. So what you need to know is, where is this happening for you in your chart? Now, if you have my diary, turn to page 81 and you can find, using the what this lunation means for you section, you can find out what it means for you. Basically, wherever Jupiter is now in your chart is where you are going to have extra luck. You're going to have Lady Luck on your side. And if you don't have my Moonology Diary 2022, so you can't turn to page 81, but you do have my Moonology Diary 2023, just take a look at the section marked what this lunation means for you for the new moon in Aries, okay? I'm actually not sure what page it's going to be on because I don't have the 2023 diary on my desk at the moment. But, wherever the new moon in Aries takes place for you, when you look at what this lunation means for you, that's where you've got good luck. And then you can just refer to the section at the front and find out where you're going to have good luck in the coming 12 years. And also every lunation has a mantra, a beautiful Sanskrit mantra. And I just wanted to give you a blast of the one for this month, which is the new moon mantra, which is honouring Saturn. Reason being, Saturn is the planet which rules the sign of Capricorn. And obviously, because there's so much Capricorn energy around this new moon, it's a really, really good time for the chant. So I'm going to do the chant 3 times. I'm just say the words for you first. They're not actually words, they're vibrations, but I'll just say them for you first so you know what you're hearing. And, as long as you're not driving, just close your eyes and just let it wash over you. It's a really good way to kind of align with the new moon and align with the energy. So here we go. This is what they sound like. Om Namo Bhagavate Kurma Deva Ya Namaha. Okay, so I'm going to chant it 3 times. Here we go. Om Namo Bhagavate Kurma Deva Ya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Kurma Devaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Kurma Devaya Namaha. And just to say, I'm actually really excited because yesterday I booked my ticket to India in January, coming up next month. And I know I'm going to be immersing myself in lots of mantras when I go to the ashram there. So I'm going to have even more mantra information to offer you as the year unfolds. So just a few other things to mention. For a start, December 21, which is this week, is when the sun moves into the sign of Capricorn ahead of the new moon in Capricorn. For those of you who are interested in such things, this actually brings the winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere, where it marks the shortest day of the year. We've had a very chilly start to winter here in the UK, so it's quite nice to know we're actually at the turning point, because it's pretty much the turning point, as we move out of winter, whereas before we were moving into winter, it marks the moving out of winter. And down under in Australia, it marks the summer solstice, which marks the longest day of the year and is kind of less good news for the Australians and the New Zealanders and so on, because it actually marks sort of the end of the moving into the summer and the start of the moving out of the summer, even though I know January and February in Australia are amazing. Look, this is not really fully my area. The solstices, again, like super new moons and super full moons, they're astronomical. Well, winter solstice, the solstices, can I say it? Solstices are not really astrology. You may or may not know that. A lot of astrologers work with them. A lot of astrologers know about them, but they're really a part more of a Wicca tradition, I think, or a Wiccan tradition, more kind of a witchy thing. If you look on the net, which I did, it says pagans, which is such a funny word. I mean, basically it means people who are, attached to the earth, do earth religions. Pagans celebrate the rebirth of the sun at the time of the solstice. This is particularly the winter solstice. The rebirth of the sun through gift exchanges. Oh, well, there you are, Christmas Day. Merriment and deep spiritual reflection. Okay, for people who work with the wheel of the year, the winter solstice in particular is a time of new beginnings, rebirth, transformation, getting rid of unwanted habits and creativity. Now, for me, that sounds like a really good thing to do, whether you practice Wicca or you don't, whether you're a witch or you're not, whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, a Jewish person, whatever, it doesn't really matter. If you think, okay, it's a time of rebirth. What do I want to start all over again in the year ahead? It's a really good time to make some commitments. I'm not sure. I would love to go down to Glastonbury on December 21 for the solstice. I may or may not make it. If I do, I'll definitely put it on social media. You can find me on Instagram, Planet Yasmin Boland, and Facebook, Yasmin Boland Moonology. The other thing to note is that on December 22, which is Thursday, we have a lovely link between Venus and Uranus, which is really positive. If you're hoping to have some kind of turnaround regarding one very important relationship or the abundance factor in your life, maybe you're worried about how you're going to make ends meet in the holidays, because obviously it can get expensive. There is good news coming, so tap into that. Expect it, live positively, expecting good things. And then on December 23, we have the aforementioned last new moon of the year. So, get out there and try and have as much of a good time as you can with your family. If you're feeling lonely on Christmas Day, whether you celebrate it or not, people tend to be quite busy. If you don't have anything to do, there's actually a really strong energy for meditation around about then, because of the Mercury and Mercury-Neptune alignment. So, if you can't be out having a good time with friends and family, then be in and do some meditating. Tap into the Capricorn energy and make a list of what you want to achieve in 2023. Think about what your desires are, and then also think about how you can do it. Remember, the Capricorn energy is all about strategy, and it's about strategy and planning. And, there was my son, Louis, who's now 16, when he was little, he used to play a game on his phone. I can't remember what it was called now. I think it might have been Boom Beach. And the motto was, come with a plan or leave in defeat. And I've always thought that was quite funny, because it's so true in life, isn't it? Come with a plan or leave in defeat. So, whatever else you're doing between now and the end of the year, come with a plan. Hopefully you won't leave in defeat, but use the Capricorn energy now, which is all about planning and strategy, to think about what you want for yourself, and make a to-do list ahead of your resolutions. I should also mention, just by the way, if you're into chanting, from December 25 to December 31, so that's Christmas Day to New Year's Eve, I'm actually going to be leading a chanting group on Zoom The easiest way to find out more about it is to simply go to Facebook and join my Energetic Wellness Club group. It's something I started quite a few years ago, and it's where we do all our chanting from, or at least we have links to the Zoom. So that's go to Facebook and then just look up Energetic Wellness Group. It's got a kind of a orangey red icon of someone who looks like they're sitting down cross-legged meditating. That's where all the Zoom links will be. I'll also put them below. And I'd love to see you there. I'm going to be doing it at 10:30 a.m. every day from Christmas Day to New Year's Eve. So just FYI, that's going to be, it's quite early in New York, about 5:30 a.m. New York time, but I know lots of people are early risers. It's even crazier in LA, 2:30 a.m. So that's for you when you're coming home from your, wherever you've been out. And in Sydney, it's actually quite good. Sydney, Melbourne, Tassie, it's actually going to be 9:30 p.m. every day, Christmas Day to New Year's Eve. Link below, or better yet, join the Energetic Wellness Club group on Facebook, because then you can always tap into all the resources there. And I'm going to be covering for a girlfriend of mine, Laura, who I interviewed very recently, and hopefully you've heard that chit chat. And if you haven't, don't worry, I'll make it available again at some point soon. So that about wraps it up. I hope you have an amazing week. I just want to finish by reminding you to grab my Moonology Diary 2023. There are, snap up the copies. It's selling really, really well. It's got a whole new look this year. It's really exciting. We're all really happy about it. People are loving it. It's got all the information you need for the new moon and the full moon every single month in 2023, plus pages to do your new moon wishes, full moon forgiveness lists, as well as a little bit of space. We've reduced the bit of space this year because people told us they weren't using it that much, but just sort of your appointments for every week, or anything you want to remind yourself of every day. That's at moonologydiary.com. Have an amazing week and happy holidays. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Mainly Moonology podcast. If you'd like to stay updated with the moon and moonology and astrology and all the other things we cover, be sure to subscribe to the podcast via Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You'll be notified whenever a new episode is up. Also, it would mean a lot to me and my team if you could leave us a glowing 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice, please. That actually helps more people find us too, which spreads the love and surely also brings you amazing karma for taking a moment to help us out and to help other people find the podcast. Have a great week, and I hope to speak to you next week.